listened to a preview of a Bible study on the book of Ephesians, and what I got out of it was that I think they were saying you can look at the book as not just addressed to the Ephesians, but addressed to the church in general, and in other words, addressed to us as well. And I didn't read it, obviously. There's only 6 chapters, so I could have. But as I did leave the pages to look for one thing, it seemed like it was telling people how to live, how to live. And if that's the case, then, and this is after Jesus has died and ascended into heaven, then that would be how we are to live today. And that would include whatever government you're living under, or whatever government rules where you live. So I think we have to remember that no one wants to force their beliefs on someone else. But on the other hand, politically, we have to push to allow people to understand the logic and to understand the morality of our faith in things. Take the issue of abortion, the issues of freedoms, the issues of this whole transgender, the issues of marriage. Marriage is between a man and a woman. It always has been, and it still is. This is just an aberration. This whole new idea that a man and a man or a woman and a woman can be married. Marriage is the union of a man and a woman in front of their neighbors and their community and God, if it's a sacramental marriage, that they are pledging to care for each other, and in the case of sacramental, to care for each other's souls as well, to get them to heaven, and all the offspring, that they will care for their offspring and care for their offspring's spirituality to get them to heaven. So that society, back to secular, society doesn't have to. The husband won't abandon his wife, and she ends up being someone that society has to take care of. Or their children, they don't abandon their children and leave it up to society to take care of their children. So we as Christians, as Catholics particularly, have an obligation to live our lives as Catholics, as part of the body of Christ. So if we are part of the body of Christ, we have to act as Christ would act. And Christ would not vote yes for abortion. Christ would push back on marriage between a man and a man. The church itself teaches that each country is entitled to borders. It wouldn't just say that a country has to open up the church doesn't say that a country has to open up its borders and just let the whole world in. It also says that you need to care for the poor and you need to care for the immigrant. But that doesn't mean that you let a country be overrun to the point that you can't care for yourself, or just to the point of abandon, that you just open a door and say, come on in, everybody and anybody, and with no vision of when that stops. So if Christ has risen to the right hand of the Father, and now he reigns over heaven and earth, then we have a higher calling than a Congress and a president or a king on this earth. We have a calling that this new reality of Christ and his kingdom on this earth must be taken seriously. And so, yeah, that's, without having gone into a lot of time, I thought of it, to think about this. I listened to the video a few times, and that's what I've gotten initially out of it. It seems, yeah. So take that, think about it, see what you think, mull it over, read the book of Ephesians, see how you understand it, and then either you decide it's not important and this 100 years is all you're worried about, and you're not worried about what happens when you die and your eternity of your soul, or it is important, and then you give it more thought. So either forget about it or take it to heart.